Hey traders, checking in on the cryptocurrency space. Daily consolidation is underway out there with space for higher lows, but we do have some major double tops that we need to be aware of. Weekly consolidation might be shaping up. I'll show you what I'm looking at in terms of the potential for that to be the case. And we'll talk about ADA, where I got scam wicked out of my position. So we can see Bitcoin is testing the daily EMA 12 support. Again, this double top, I'm calling this a double top with the all-time high. Yes, we did see new all-time highs, but we broke it by about 3%. And that weekly candle, we still have a few days left to go, but that's obviously not a convincing breakout candle. As I've been saying recently, we're not going to be surprised in the slightest the next time we see weekly consolidation. We just made a 65% move to the upside since our last weekly high or low, and we're extended on that weekly time frame. So we'll be looking for weekly higher lows. I will be looking to buy a weekly higher low, but the daily time frame has to lose its daily uptrend if we're going to see weekly consolidation take shape. Anything above 58.9 thousand is a higher low, but we're shaping up here for the possibility of a head and shoulders. Whether you like it better on the 12-hour or the daily, as far as keeping an eye on it, it would be like this. So if we hold our support here and then bounce, we're going to look for a lower high to be the result of this bounce. Because with where Bitcoin stands right now, we can bounce 7% and still just be looking for a lower high. That all-time high now is 10% plus to the upside. So, scouting a lower high to be the result of this bounce. Right now, the bulls are struggling to bounce a little bit. 15-minute time frame, you can see we hit the low of 6,000. Nice bounce off that level, a couple percent, but unable to change trends. We're in a 15-minute downtrend, rejecting from EMA 12 resistance, and it's looking like we may be shaping up for a flush of 6,000 psychological. If that does take place, the 4-hour RSI will be approaching oversold. Still a ways to go. Probably need to break 59 for that 4-hour RSI to get oversold. And the hourly will be getting back to oversold. Piggy bulls are patiently waiting for 4-hour oversold at this point. And again, ideally, I want to see 4-hour, hourly, 15-minute, 5-minute oversold and flushing in a waterfall drop so that, again, I can look to exit partial positions. If I'm scaling in, 15-minute drop here is extremely fast and hard. So if I'm scaling in and we get a multiple percent bounce, I can exit some partial position and be a lot more comfortable in that trade. So that's why I like the shorter term time frames. Even if I'm going for a 4-hour oversold bounce, I want the 5-minute to be a waterfall drop so that I know, okay, well, if I start scaling in now, I should at least get a short-term 5-minute bounce to allow me to position myself and maneuver a little bit to remain in control. So at this point, I have lightened up a bit on my swing positions. I'm still using the weekly higher lows as a guide for the entirety of the position, but I'm at a point now where I just lighten up a little, take 10, 20% off, and then look to add in more oversold conditions. So again, that weekly time frame, knowing that we haven't consolidated in so long, makes me a little bit more prone to take some profit. And again, I've always got the long-term no touch as my anti-FOMO. Every time I'm going to sell a position and take some profit, I think, well, what if we run to a new all-time high? Do I want to leave this much money on the table? Blah, blah, blah. It's always, my mind always goes back to, well, I got long-term no touch and I'll continue to benefit. And that makes my short-term decisions a lot easier. The dominance chart is pulling back notably. Again, it was a clue to us when Bitcoin hit all-time high and the altcoins started running that day. I did not anticipate it to take that for it to happen that quickly, but as soon as it did, I really accelerated my rate of watching altcoins. This dominance chart is in a head and shoulders pattern as well. So we're looking at this, and if we lose the daily uptrend, we zoom out for a weekly equilibrium because we have our low, high, double bottom, and anything under 48.92 is a lower high, and we came about $1.20 away from that. Not $1.20, but $1.20. So, potential for weekly consolidation on the dominance chart as well. Ethereum, daily consolidation underway. Again, it's a double top at the all-time high. We can't ignore this. Not calling tops, but I'm just saying we have to be aware of this because if we start to see more and more red flags, it's going to be weighing on the psyche of bulls, essentially. If we had gone up to 5,000 and then started daily consolidation, it's way different than a double top into daily consolidation. So for ETH, anything above 36.43 is a daily higher low. So bulls have plenty of space to work with. Hourly oversold conditions, not getting much bounce. A little bit of a red flag. first hourly oversold from an all-time high double top. That's not your ideal back burner because it's not first oversold from all-time highs. It's first oversold from a double top. So again, there's just slight differences, and that would be a difference between an ideal scenario and a less ideal scenario. Maybe that means I'm more picky. Maybe that means I use smaller position sizes, but it's worth noting. It's not the same thing in terms of degree of confidence of the pattern. The 4-hour time frame is not close to oversold. We're in a clear 4-hour downtrend. Got an uptrending support line. Let's see if this is coming into play. Close. That's a good line. So 15 minutes in a downtrend here as well. More of an equilibrium at this point. Whereas Bitcoin, I think we just hit that lower low. Nope, it's equilibrium as well. They're both 15-minute equilibriums. We'll see if we set a higher low here and continue to tighten up. But Ethereum, decent bounce. Bounce of 3%, 2.5%. But the BTC pairing didn't see a very significant bounce. Well, it played catch up. I take that back. I was watching initially back here, and on the initial first 10 minutes of that bounce, didn't get much follow through, but it's doing a good job since then. So again, we're watching to see, is this an inverse head and shoulders? We don't really have much pullback right now. We are looking for a 12-hour higher low, and bulls need to get over 668 for this daily bounce to see follow through. We will eventually have to change the daily trend for our 2-week higher low to form. Remember, we're watching this big drawn out pattern, and it is shaping up for that higher low. Could trade within this tightening range for another 2 months. Each candle is 2 weeks. We could bounce for a couple candles. We could pull back for a couple candles. We've been keeping a close eye on Sol. Sol USDT, another name that is a double top at the all-time highs. A very clear one. We rejected right off of it and pulled back 8%. So the weekly broke bull. That's why we've been watching Sol for the beautiful weekly equilibrium. And the 178 break did see plenty of follow through to make it worthwhile. Big time 3-day bull break here, but a temporary top being set. 4-hour consolidation underway. Plenty of space for a higher low. Anything above 177.80. Hourly, not close to oversold yet. But it is a waterfall drop. That is one thing that I like. If I'm looking for a 4-hour higher low, I like the fact that the 1 hour is not stair-stepping down. Because again, I want short-term time frames to be oversold if I'm looking to make an entry. 15-minute getting oversold and hitting 4-hour EMA 12 is a potential area to be watching for a bounce. It all depends on how Bitcoin breaks this 15-minute tightening range. If we drop down and break 6,000 psychological, I'll probably start to make some entries, and I'll be looking at ETH and Sol. Sol BTC, what stands out? Stronger than the US dollar pairing. Correlated to a certain degree, but stronger, which is ideal scenario. We got a stair-step pattern essentially, not exactly, but pretty much a higher low every single candle on this move up. And the US dollar pairing has consolidated along the way. So it's a good sign to see that much strength on the BTC pairing. Just shows you this coin is way stronger than Bitcoin over the last 3 days. So let's see if the bulls can set a 4-hour higher low and have that all-time high remain in play. And we would have to see Bitcoin set a daily higher low and bounce into the weekend for that to be the case. Let's see if the miners are giving us any clues. Miners got real beat up today. Daily consolidation, scouting a higher low. Hourly oversold conditions. Still a good looking chart. Coin, same deal. Coin and MARA still look fine. It's just a question of what does Bitcoin do for multiple days while these stocks aren't going to be trading. So ADA, I got stopped out with a scam wick. So I entered in the 218s right after I posted the last video where you could see me as it happened saying, that's a good setup, I want an entry. We got a nice bull break, 5% to the upside as far as a little bit more than 5%, but bull break of resistance levels. And then it was the kind of thing where I woke up on the morning and I looked and I saw, oh, my Ethereum position's doing really well that I bought yesterday. My ADA is doing really well. It's a great morning. And then by the time that I got coffee, the dollar amount that I was up, I then had just lost because of, I didn't just lose my profit. It was, say I'm up X dollars, then I lost X dollars. And it was because of this scam wick. Why am I calling it a scam wick? Because the amount of volume that caused this wick to form here on Coinbase was not significant enough to warrant a 15% drop. And you can see in the past we had some other candles. And actually, the last time I looked at this volume, they must have updated it because it was much more in line with this previous volume spike. So it was more volume, 7 million. Makes a bit more sense. But it was just a 15% straight drop. And look at how fast it happened. I mean, that was one 5-minute candle. It was really one 1-minute candle. I didn't even realize it was that fast. Yeah. So for a lot of people, that's 5 or 6 figures evaporating in 60 seconds if they were stopped out. So that's unfortunate. It's part of the game. And again, it's mindset. I can look at that and complain and whine and try and contact Coinbase. Yeah, right. But I've taken advantage of wicks. In 2017, I can remember Bitcoin wicking down and me market buying that wick down and then resulting 2 minutes later. There's one trade that sticks out of my mind where I bought and then sold, market buy, market sell 2 minutes later. And it was, the amount of money that I had made in an entire year in one of my previous trading years a couple years prior. So I've taken advantage of that lack of liquidity before. And this is just one instance where it worked out against me. So I'm okay with it. It stinks, but that's the way it is. Otherwise, I'd still be in this position because we didn't drop down and break 207. Aside from that, and ADA BTC has its bounce underway. So the stair-step drop of a lower high every day, that pattern has broken, and it's been a decent bounce. Question is, can this bounce continue the next time Bitcoin sets a daily high or low? That's what we're looking for from here if we're looking bullish. Once Bitcoin sets a daily high or low, which names will have BTC pairings go up from there to show more pronounced bull moves relative to Bitcoin? And Sol bulls are certainly hoping that keeps up to keep that all-time high in play to eliminate that double top that is sitting there right now. Binance worth watching just for this 4-hour equilibrium. It's just nice and clear. Lower high set at 5 or compared to 505. And now the bulls are trying for a higher low compared to 466. But what stands out about Binance is, again, a more bullish BTC pairing. It's going straight up the last 24 hours while the US dollar pairing is trading sideways. So if the BTC pairing can stay strong once Bitcoin finds a daily high or low, then those altcoins that do that will be positioned really well for notable follow through. So for now, it's all about the 15-minute time frame in the short term and whether or not we're going to flush under 6,000 psychological support. And again, I'll probably start making some entries if we do flush under 6,000. And I was just hanging out with Devin, who we did the trader talk with. He's in town. That's on our YouTube channel. And Jungle Funk Joey. And they were both trading this drop. I didn't bring my laptop with me over to the house. But they were scaling into Ethereum on the break of 3,900. And then they sold partial positions on the initial bounce. Initially, they were targeting 4,000. It didn't quite get there. But now they just got a 4-hour equilibrium or a 15-minute equilibrium that they need to sit through. If the 15-minute equilibrium breaks bull on both these names, we zoom out and scout an hourly lower high. And then the bulls need to change the hourly trend. Then we zoom out and scout a 4-hour lower high. So we know the zoom out game, we do it one time frame at a time. And right now it's on the 15-minute to see if a temporary bottom can be set. So we'll see what we get over the weekend. Again, no major red flags. We got to be cautious of the head and shoulders just as a possibility, because if that were to confirm, weekly consolidation would likely be underway. But first things first, we got to find a temporary bottom. And that's what we're looking for in the short term. Feel free to ask any questions. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to do good things. And we'll see you soon.